G'day YouTube, welcome to Chris's Gaming Quest. Today I'll be looking at my collection of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Let's start with a little bit of trivia. So Ocarina of Time was originally released for the Nintendo 64 in Japan on November 21st, 1998. It was then released to the rest of the world a couple of weeks later in December. Its release met with critical acclaim and is still regarded by many, myself included, as one of the best Zelda games of all time. Now, my copy of the N64 is the Special Collector's Edition, easily identified with the Collector's Edition print on the box, but also with the iconic gold cartridge that was released with it. So, up until now, I believe the gold cartridge edition was a limited release here in Australia, but that we had the grey cart released as well, much like in the rest of the world. But through researching for this video, I found that there was no regular edition or grey cart released in Australia. I found a great reference at fandom.com. I'll leave a link down in the description for anyone wanting to look it up. They have detailed descriptions and photos of different regions. And for the Australia-New Zealand release, there is only the gold cart collector's edition. Now, I'll admit it's entirely possible that the European version, which was only released in the grey cart edition, could have been sold here as both regions are PAL, but again I haven't been able to find any evidence for this. If anyone knows if the European version was sold at retail in Australia, please let me know down in the comments. Okay, let's move on to the second release, this one on the Nintendo GameCube. The Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition. This edition released in November of 2003 to most of the world, but here in Australia we had to wait another 5 months until March of 2004. As many of you may know, this Zelda Collector's Edition comes with 4 Zelda titles on it, one of them being Ocarina of Time, as well as its direct sequel, Majora's Mask. It also contains the original Legend of Zelda, released for the NES, and the second game, The Adventures of Link, also released for the NES. So my copy here wasn't originally mine. I purchased it from eBay, I believe. I didn't even know this existed when it was released, mainly because of how it was released. Each country or region had their own way of obtaining it. In Japan, it was available through the Nintendo Club, where here in Australia, much like the UK, you needed to purchase 2 other titles from a selection of 6 for the GameCube and send in proof of purchase, and then you would get sent out the Zelda Collector's Edition. Sticking with the GameCube versions, next we have the third release of Ocarina of Time. This one actually came bundled with The Wind Waker. It was released staggeredly in Japan on December 13th of 2002, in North America in March 24th of 2003, and in the rest of the world in May of 2003. There was some controversy with the bonus disc that came with this edition in North America, as it was given out separately when you pre-ordered the Wind Waker. This resulted in people cancelling their Wind Waker pre-orders but keeping the bonus disc. This was of course changed for the European Australian releases, where we got it bundled with the Wind Waker edition in this 2-disc case. Wind Waker being gold cartridge, and the Legend Ocarina of Time, just that nice red decals on that one. While the 2 GameCube releases, one on the promotional disc and on the Wind Waker bonus disc, the games are identical. This version actually contains a second Ocarina of Time game known as Master Quest. Originally, Master Quest was made for the 64 disk drive add-on for the Nintendo 64 in Japan, but with this failure, it was re-released on the bonus disc. Master Quest is basically the same game, albeit more difficult. Enemies will appear more frequently and be more difficult to defeat. Dungeons have different layouts and puzzles, and items will appear in different locations. And that's all for bonus disc for that one. So finally, we have our fourth and final release for Ocarina of Time, and this is the 3DS version. Released in June of 2011, and unlike the GameCube releases, which were running on emulation, this version was a full remake. It had updated graphics as well as frame rate, the inventory was changed, and it had improvements for the water temple. My copy is the limited edition Ocarina edition, as seen by the big box in the background here. Came with that big gold box. Additionally, it also came with another special edition, and that was an ocarina. It's got the Zelda Triforce emblem there. Now, I do not know how to play this. I have tried in the past. I am terrible at it. One other tidbit about The Legend of Zelda on the 3DS, it also came with, if you can see on the back, if I can get a good shot of it, here, once you've beaten the main game, a new mirrored version of Master Quest awaits. So the 3DS version here also contains the Master Quest on it as well. An additional challenge on the 3DS version was the boss challenge. This was unlocked after defeating the first boss and accessible in Link's bedroom in his house. There's also a Master Quest version of the boss challenge as well, with much more challenging bosses. Well, that's it for my Zelda game collection. Please look out for my next play video where I'll be playing through actually the Master Quest version of Ocarina of Time on the GameCube. Thank you for watching.